Today I'm tackling 3 super common issues that I see beginners struggle with almost daily in the comments. Now these are not silly questions, and when you're beginning, trust me, you're not alone. This can be really confusing at first. And even if you've been crocheting for some time, it can still be an issue. So stick around because you'll not only find out what these issues are, but I'll show you exactly how to solve them. So let's begin with multiples. In crochet, ladies, in crochet. A big confusion I see is what exactly is a multiple and how to add the numbers together to form the chain correctly. The multiple is the base number of stitches that the pattern repeats. For example, if it says to work a multiple of 3, it just means every 3 stitches will repeat the same pattern. So to begin, you're just going to work your chain in blocks of 3 until you reach your desired width. So you start with chain 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. Or in other words, just keep chaining in sets of 3. 3, 3, 3, all the way across. Along with that, you'll often see a plus sign after it with another number, and that's where things can get a little bit confusing. When do you add that number? These additional chains are called your turning chains. That's because they literally help you turn to begin your first row to complete that first stitch. So when you're reading the formula, first focus on the multiple number only. Just completely ignore anything after the plus sign. And then when you've reached the width that you want to make, then you're going to deal with those additional chains. If it says plus 2, add 2 more chains. That's it. Now let's say it says something really crazy, something like chain a multiple of 3 plus 1 plus 2. What the heck do you do with that? It's the same concept. Ignore everything after the plus signs and start with that multiple first. So in this case, again, it's a multiple of 3. I'm going to work my chain in sets of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. And then when I come to the very end, then I work with those plus signs. I have a plus 1, so I add 1 more chain. And then I have a plus 2. I add 2 more chains. And then my chain is complete. Now you might be wondering, why doesn't it just say a plus 3? Well, that's because the last plus is your turning chain, but the other one is there to help the pattern repeat align properly. So there may be times that you want to use that stitch and you don't need the turning chain. For example, if you're working on a sampler pattern and you're just incorporating the stitch into that pattern, you would only need that turning chain at the very end if you were using the stitch for the first row. Okay, so we have an understanding of how to work the multiples for that starting chain, but let's go ahead and revisit the turning chain because this is the second issue I see come up a lot. Does the turning chain count as a stitch, and where do you place your stitches after you've made it? Well, it depends. Yes and no. The good news is the pattern or tutorial that you're following will tell you if it's a stitch or not. And if it doesn't, well, it's up to you. Remember, turning chains correspond with the height of a stitch, and they're typically used just to give you some wiggle room to make that very first stitch. But the standard for this is usually a chain 1 or 2 does not count as a stitch, but a chain 3 or 4 often does count as a stitch. So let's say, for example, you're working your foundation chain, and it tells you to do a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. As a quick reminder, you never count the stitch that's on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll have something that looks like this. And this is where things can get really confusing. Does this count as a stitch or not? And remember, the pattern is going to tell you. But the biggest tip that I can give you, regardless of the answer, is work with a stitch marker. Let's say, for example, that the pattern says that the chain on the side does not count as a stitch. Then you know that this first double crochet that you made does. So place a stitch marker into the top of that stitch. This is so important because when you finish this row and then you come back to work into this stitch, it can be really hard to see where to place your last stitch. Look how easy it would be to add an extra stitch here. But with this stitch marker, I'm fully aware that that is my very last stitch. I don't have to remember or wonder if I need to do an extra stitch in this turning chain. Now, on the other hand, if the pattern says that it does count as a stitch, find the top of the stitch that you made and then add a stitch marker into the chain right next to it. Now you can be fully confident that when you come back around to work those stitches, you'll know exactly where to place your stitch. And when it comes to working your last stitch, you can either work into the space where that turning chain is or directly into the chain itself. That's a personal preference thing. Continuing on with that, where do you put your stitch after you've done a turning chain in subsequent rows? Let's say, for example, your pattern says to do a chain 2 and turn and work your first double crochet into the first stitch. Where is the first stitch? Is it these chains or the first stitch from below? So just so you can see it clearly, I'm going to put a stitch marker into the very last stitch that I made. And just following a pattern is telling me to do a chain 2 and turn. And now I can clearly see where the very first stitch is that I need to work into, not the chains. The standard rule for turning chains, if it's a chain 1 or a chain 2, it doesn't usually count as a stitch, but very often a chain 3 or 4 does. So if it was a chain 3, let's say for example, you're told to do a chain 3 and turn. If it is serving as a stitch, then you're going to be told to skip the first stitch and work into the second stitch. So that just means you're going to skip the first stitch and work into the next stitch with your double crochet. This used to be a standard practice, but it isn't as popular as it used to be because, as you can see, it causes a gap here. So there are all kinds of great ways to replace that chain 3 with other options. And if you watch a lot of videos, you'll see a lot of those different options. But a good one is a chain 2, turn your work, and work a double crochet into the same stitch. Or more accurately, I should say, work a double crochet into the top of the double crochet from the previous row. If you do something like that, again, your stitch marker is your best friend. It can get very confusing, so be sure to add a stitch marker so you don't accidentally think that chain 2 that helped you get to the height of the double counts as a stitch. Even today, after crocheting for over 20 years, I still use stitch markers because with my old lady brain, it can be really easy for me to forget if that's a stitch or not. And that is the biggest way that you're going to get those uneven waves on the sides because you're accidentally adding and taking away stitches. So if you just take the time to pop a stitch marker in there, your sides are going to be so accurate, beautiful, and straight. And finally, the biggest question that I get asked all the time is how many chains do I need for my project? And it's very hard to give you a very accurate answer to that because so much of it depends on the hook and the yarn that you're using. So I may give you a number and it's not going to work very well for you. And the big thing about this is it's so easy to figure out on your own. I highly recommend that you get yourself a handy dandy tape measure. These are inexpensive and you can easily find them at your local superstore or hobby shop. And if all else fails, I'll be sure to add a link in the description box below the video. Let's say, for example, you found a stitch pattern that you absolutely love, but they've made it a throw blanket size, but you just want to make a baby blanket. Look at the pattern multiple. Let's say, for example, it's a multiple of 3 plus 2. You're going to ignore the plus sign and work with that multiple, and you're going to make your starting chain measure 36 inches. Now you can use any kind of unit of measurement that you like. If you want to work with centimeters, that's great too. And you can take your handy dandy tape measure and just keep working in sets of 3 until you reach 36 inches. And then once you've reached that width, then bring in that plus sign. For this example, it was a plus 2 for our turning chain, and then just follow your pattern as normal. You're all set. Another way you can do it, if you want to figure out multiple sizes, go back to your multiple number. For the example here, we're going to do a multiple of 3. And let's say again, you want to make a baby blanket that's 36 by 48 inches. So you're going to start with the width side, which is 36 inches. But instead of chaining along the tape measure, you're just going to chain for 1 inch using that multiple of 3. Again, you can use whatever unit of measurement you like. And basically what you're doing is you're just trying to see what multiple comes closest to that 1 inch. And for me, it's a chain 3 because my next option would be a chain 6, and that's too big. So a chain 3 works better for me. And that's for whatever you're working with. Let's say it was a multiple of 2, then you would just chain in blocks of 2 until it reaches 1 inch. Now the beginning width that I want to chain to is 36 inches long. So all I need to do is multiply. That would be 3 times 36, which equals 108. So I know with my hook and yarn, to start a baby blanket that is 36 inches wide, I need to start with 108 chains. And then when I come to the end of that, I know I have a turning chain number, the plus number, of 2 more. So I add 2 more. My chain was 110 chains. So that's really all there is to creating your starting chain, learning your multiples, understanding the turning chain, and then just using a little bit of math with your tape measure, and then you can adapt any pattern to suit your needs. If you're fairly new to crocheting, I really think you're going to enjoy this video where I go into more detail about turning chains and other very common questions that I get from beginners. Well, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, a like is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.